And
your kickstand's still up.
yeah,
It's still. Oh, I'm glad I got that.
Alright guys, Richard here. E-bike reviews and adventures. Doing some maintenance today. Amanda's coming in. She's going to be here in a little while. She had something to do first thing this morning. So we were installing the racks yesterday on the Yoda bike. We got the front rack and we have a basket that goes on top of that rack and this fence over here. The fence they advertise for a cargo. I've seen other companies advertise it as a child fence, so you can put a child on the back seat and have something to hold on to. And but the problem is up here. Amanda installed the rack and we weren't really watching where the wires were when we turned the handlebar for the first time. And see how tight they are right here. They get caught here, and 3 or 4 of the wires popped loose, or actually not 3 or 4, two of the wires popped loose. So the problem is, do we zip tie it? Some racks come with a space down in between the rack and the frame, so you can run wires through there. But this, there's really no other option other than zip tying it here, and if I zip tie it, it's likely just to slide down anyway. And all these are really, really super tight, and I'm just not sure that I want it right there. The next option is to, since we conveniently have all these connections here, we can disconnect everything except the shifter cable and the hydraulic line, and we could run everything else like through here, through the basket hole. But it looks like the excuse me, the hydraulic line and the shifter cable, I don't have, I won't be able to disconnect those to reroute those, so they're going to have to be done something with anyway. It's just really a bit of a mess. And that's one thing I noticed when I first got the bike, is the wiring was a bit of a mess up here, and it wasn't wrapped real well, and we just kind of had wires like this one that really sticks out way out here. There's just a lot of, and that's the front brake. So just a lot of excess wire here and nowhere really for it to go. So I can tuck it in and wire wrap it right here, which will help, but not when I need to turn the bike. As soon as I try turning the handlebars, it's going to jack everything up. I mean, we're talking everything is crisscrossed applesauce here. It's just, what? Look, the only thing I can do is I'm going to disconnect everything. And I found that using two pair of pliers like this, pinching them and then pushing my hands together, pulling them apart like that is easier. I just can't grip these things too well to get them off any other way. So I'm going to do that with this one too. I'm not marking these. Hopefully I don't need to. They're different colors, right? So far they're different colors. There's a problem. That's a 2-pin. Alright, so those are 2 pins, and that's a 2-pin, so that's a problem. So now I have one that's the same color. Hey, I'm not much of a maintenance guy, right? So some of you guys would say, like, oh, that just means that's this and that's this, and you're good to go. And no, Richard would not be good to go. Trust me. Trust me. I'm just going to put a little tape on both ends of that wire so I know. Oh, that wasn't the same one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 5-pin. Alright, so that's fine. Those 2 greens go together. And these 2 reds. So, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to just straighten this mess out a little bit. And that helps a little because I can run all of that through here, perhaps. So what we did is we used one zip tie to hold the other zip tie over here. keeps it from sliding down that curve. So now it can't slide down the curve. It's sitting on top of the rack, and it's going to allow us to turn. I think we're going to be fine with that. Now, where do I route this mess? Let's see here. We can do some wire wrap here, a little bit up there, maybe some over here. Try to clean this up a little bit. I don't need the blue tape anymore. I'll take that off. Yeah, so I don't know if every bike is going to be this way. I mean, sometimes you just get one that's just built different, built wrong, built by a new guy or something, and things get a little wonky and not done quite correctly. Most companies are pretty good with how they wire everything up and you know, have everything routed and don't have this big of a problem. This has been the worst of all the bikes I've had. This has been the worst as far as how the wiring has been. But yeah, see, I mean, there we go. We can do a nice big wire wrap right here probably for. Okay, guys, so that's the best I can do for now, because the only wire wrap I had was this really big stuff, and I need to get some more of this really small stuff right here. But as you can see now, we've got a good part of the wires running through here, through the rack. So when we turn, you know, we can turn nice and sharp and not have any problems with it. Hopefully. The light will stay plugged in now because it runs straight down to the rack there. And the hydraulic line is now attached up here to the top of the rack, so it runs down the back side instead of being a big loop out here. And so I think that's going to work for us. We'll just have to test a little bit and see, but yeah, I think it's going to be fine. I don't think anything's rubbing that's going to cause us any problems. All right, training day. Amanda's over here getting ready to make a switch for Mrs. Adventure, because Mrs. Adventure wants to try using the Blue Wind saddle that has the backrest, and she wants to use that on the Moon Cool. So we're going to swap her suspension seat post over to this one because it's bigger, because this one doesn't fit the Moon Cool. So Amanda's working on that for us. I just got done doing some wire wrap business over there in the Yoda bike. Moving on to the next task. Oh, no, hello. Oh yeah, that's fine. Gonna go clean his house. Come clean my house. This is called a puller. And what it does is, to start it, you always back this down so it's lower than the top right here. Okay? This part gets screwed in right here. It gets screwed in all the way. So now this is attached to this metal piece here. Let me back up and say, this piece is wedged onto the shaft that goes through here. Okay. The shaft is tapered a little bit and it's wedged on there really hard. That's why we just can't pull it off. Okay. So with this being attached to this, now we screw this in, and this inner piece is going to push on the actual shaft that's inside here. Okay. And it's going to force this to come loose. Huh. Yeah, kind of cool. Okay. There she comes. Now we're going to let that chain drop off. Yeah. We can set that over there. This guy right here, it just pulls off, but it's also a little tight. So what you kind of have to do is work it back and forth. Kind of work it back and forth and keep doing that until it pops off. Oh. All right. Lefty loosey, like this. So this special wrench goes on there to loosen those guys up. And I'm going to try to do it from over here. All right, so you work on that side, I'll work on this side. Is that's not cross threaded? No, I guess not. All right, give it a whirl. Oh, hold on, first of all, spin that with your hands to get it in all the way. Okay, say that again.
We seriously need to organize around here because there's tools all over the place and it's kind of hard to find anything.
When we're using two cameras, once we got them both turned on, we need to sync them. And what we do is we just clap our hands once, and what it does is in the software, when you load up the video file, I think you've seen it before, where it loads up the video file and it stretches across, and you can see the entire video. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is I'll put your video file there, and I'll put my video file on top. But to make sure that they start and stop in exactly the right spot, there has to be a marker so we can line them up so they're in sync. And what it is the clap on your video. It's going to show a big spike for the sound, because that big clap. On my video, it's going to show a big spike for the sound. And so then all I do is I move the videos over so both spikes are lined up, and then everything after that, the videos are in sync.
Okay, similar to like audio recording for like music videos and stuff.
Yeah, because otherwise, you know, if I'm using my voice, and then I'm using my voice, but we're using the video from your camera, my lips will be doing this, but I'll be saying something else, and nothing's matched up.
That makes sense.
The door.
Oh my gosh, my seat is.
You might want to admit.
I thought I lowered it enough, but I really don't feel like ballet dancing when I try to come to a stop.
No ballet dancing today, huh?
No, maybe tomorrow, but
not today.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Not really. I saw you. Get comfortable.
I'm comfy. I'm good.
Yeah, now you're comfortable. Lean forward. You were comfortable a second ago like that, and it's pointing way down. So I think this is actually going to have to be... Let's try that.
Okay.
Here we go. Hey guys, Richard here. E-bike reviews and what?
Your kickstand's still up.
And adventures.
It's still.
Is that my kickstand? Like.
Oh, I'm glad I got that.
Oh.
These footboards. I cannot stand these footboards because they keep like wiggling and jiggling and making noise, and I think I'm hitting something.
Is your heel?
No, it's not my heel.
Not your heel.
It's just kind of wiggling.
It's just that when they're loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see if we can fix that. Let's go for it. Let's go.
Let's go before anything else happens.
All right, guys. Richard here at E-bike Reviews and Adventures. We think we have it together now. Say hello, Amanda.
Hello.
All right, Amanda. Amanda and I are out. I am on the Admotor M81, and we're giving it a test ride after doing some maintenance on it, trying to get the repair done because the sensor wasn't engaging the motor and things were kind of messed up. So Amanda is test riding the Yoda bike. Why are we test riding the Yoda bike, Amanda?
Because it's a little wonky.
Yeah, but we also had a problem. We had to make a correction, remember?
Yeah, we had to make a few corrections.
But I did that before you showed up today, so you missed all that fun. But what did we do?
Well, I remember putting the rack on the front.
Yep.
And the basket didn't fit.
Yep.
And then we've got these footboards in the back. They're still driving me crazy.
Yeah, we had some issues. But getting back to the front, the rack, when we... Look out, here comes a car. When we put the rack on, the wiring was getting hung up on the rack. When we turned the steering wheel, it pulled a lot of the connections loose. Yeah.
Yep.
And so it popped a lot of the connections loose. And so I had to rewire the wiring this morning, reposition everything to try to get it to where it needed to be, you know, so we can actually steer it without pulling on the wires. But we wanted to test ride it to make sure that what we did yesterday when we yanked on the wires really hard, that we didn't actually damage something else. You know, that we didn't damage something. We wanted to make sure everything's working today. So that's the purpose of this test ride for the Yoda bike. So, test the, go ahead and get in front of me. Test the blinkers on the left side.
Oh.
Let me just make sure the brake lights are working. Yep, right. Yep, brake light. Hit the brakes. Brakes work. All right, does that one have a horn? I don't remember. Car. Yep, car coming. Let's give him some space. So horn works, lights work, front headlight work, because that was one of the problems we had. You have the headlight button for the headlight? If not, remember it'll be the up button on your pedal assist. You just have to hold it. And not seeing anything. not a separate button?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one it is.
Just go ahead and stop if you need to.
Oh, goodness.
We got blinkers, we got mode, we got horn. Oh yeah, so it's just the up button.
Okay, I see that now.
Yeah, it's working. And if you push and hold it again, it'll turn off. Now it's off.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I think everything worked. We didn't damage anything when we yanked on those wires, so. Woo! Amanda and I had a rough morning trying to fix the M81. Yeah. But it wasn't because of AdMotor. AdMotor gave us the instructions and we just didn't follow them as clearly as what we could or should have, and we had to redo things a couple of times, but we have everything up and working. We're not going to go far, man. Let's just go through here. We can't go far because we didn't grab our helmets. It was just a quick little test ride, and here I am talking, and now we're outside the neighborhood. But we'll just zip around, go right back into the neighborhood. Just wanted to make sure everything's working. Sure feels like everything's working. The sensor on this thing is now working, so when I'm pedaling, it engages the motor. The problem before is it was not engaging the motor at all. So it was only manual mode on the pedals is all you got, but the throttle still worked. So that kind of led us to the sensor. And so we replaced the sensor and first put it on there backwards, had to take it off, then we put it on correctly. We thought we put it on correctly, but it wasn't correctly, so we had to take it off again. But to take it on and off each time, you have to pull the crank off. And you need special tools to be able to pull the crank on and off. It was just a pain in the rear. We would have shown you all that, but we really didn't know what we were doing, and we were fumbling a lot, and so we just didn't make a video about that process. But end result now is, yeah, we have the sensor on correctly, and it's causing the motor to engage when we turn the crank, so we're happy that the M81 is back in operation. Very happy. Alright, gotta get back on our neighborhood streets again. We're not wearing our helmets, so we can't communicate. And I don't know if Amanda's talking back there or not. Alright, Amanda, are you talking to the people?
Do what?
Are you talking to the people?
I haven't been saying a whole lot because
they're a friendly bunch.
I figured they were a friendly bunch. I'm just like...
It's kind of like just talking to yourself. Now, if you start answering yourself, we'll cut that part out of the video because that'd be a little worrisome.
Well, typically I talk to animals and furniture. Myself, that's kind of an occasional thing.
Okay, just an occasional thing for yourself.
Yeah, just
animals and furniture is who she speaks to.
Yeah. Like, give me a minute here and I'm going to start yelling at these footboards again because they are driving me nuts.
Yeah. So, I have a suggestion. Whoa, which way do you want to go? You want to go? Yeah, let's go home. Oh, okay, we're not going to go home. We weebled and then we wobbled and then she zigged when I zagged. All right, let me catch up.
Oh, man. Guys, I tell you what, it's a lovely day.
Yeah, it's actually a fairly easy fix for that because it's just a metal tube inserted into a metal tube, and that's basically how they stay on. But there's a little play, so there's that vibration. So what we need to do is just find like a piece of rubber or something and, you know, stick it on there so that when we insert the footboards into the little metal tube that's mounted on the bike, it's a tight fit and it doesn't vibrate. So it's a fairly easy fix. And, you know, you'd think the manufacturer would have thought of that, but they didn't. So we'll come up with something. We'll come up with something.
Yeah, that's going to have to get fixed because thing 1 and thing 2 are about to end up in the trash.
Which one? Oh, 1 or 2 of them are going to end up in the trash?
Yeah.
We better get home and take them off then. That is such a cool looking bike. I tell you what.
I really do like the color. It still makes me think of like frozen yogurt. Like
frozen yogurt? Go ahead.
Yeah, like a pistachio frozen yogurt or something. It makes me hungry. but it's also close to lunchtime. Yeah, it's gorgeous out right now. It was about 47 degrees this morning.
I like it, not just the color, but I also like the look of the bigger tire and the smaller tire. It's just a sharp look. It's unique.
It is. I like it.
It's just a really cool looking bike. And so far, been performing well. All right. I would say they're both performing fine. What do you say we grab a little lunch? You ready for a little lunch?
I'm definitely ready for lunch.
I'm ready for a little lunch. We'll have a little lunch and then we'll have plenty of other things to do. We gotta try to do the video for the Hollywood rack today, so that's next on the agenda. All right, you know, we can just leave them out here for right now.
Where are these freaking footboards?
Yeah, you're kicking them now, aren't you?
Yes, they're kicking me around, knocking me around.
Kicking the footboards. Yeah. All right, good job. Turn off your camera. Goodbye, people.